The fourth Heretic trilogy, Remnant, Refuge, and Reunion, is a trilogy of novels and the only trilogy in the New Jedi Order series. It follows after the defeat of the Yuzumong at Baku 9. They've become more unpredictable in their attacks. Barab 1 is ravaged by the invaders, much to the heartache and horror of Jedi Knight Saba, whatever. Recognizing Sketa as a key to finally ending the Yuzumong aggression, Luke arranges an expedition to seek out the mysterious rogue planet. Joined by Mara, Jason, Talik, Demina, and Luke pilots the Jade Shadow into the unknown regions, inviting Civi along to help her deal with the loss of her people. Jason hopes the plan will provide answers to many questions. Vergen's view presented about the Jedi and their duty in the Force. Han and Leia aboard the Millennium Falcon, accompanied by the Twin Sun Squadron, which includes Jaina and Jagged Fell, set out their own mission to contact worlds cut off from the Galactic Alliance. Leia invites Talia to accompany them so she can better deal with the demons haunting her. You know, the loss of her love, Anakin Solo, and the Yuzin Vong experimenting on her and turning her part Yuzin Vong because of the Shapers. Yeah, like I've said in Star by Star, she does not get a happy ending, though that could also be because the Disney canon decided to overwrite the expanded universe. So on Glataris, the group discovers that the native Fia have collaborated with the Yuzavon to wipe out the aggressive Yivin species. Talia and the Solos find Rin spies who have been monitoring the Yuzumong activities on the fringes of the galaxy. The Ren advise them to make Bakura their next stop. As the Jade Shadow voyages towards the unknown regions and makes a stop within the Imperial Remnant, Luke hopes to convince Grand Admiral Pelican to join the newly formed Galactic Alliance. Skywalker is surprised that the Imperial Remnant in retreat from the Yuzumong warships. The war has reached the Empire. Though Luke cannot add much firepower to the fray, his seasoned tactics against the enemy prove invaluable to the Imperials, allowing them to escape intact. Luke meets with war-wounded Pelican, who explains that the Remnant has drawn Yuzumong attention since supplying the navigational data that resulted in their victory over the aliens in Baku 9. The proud Imperials have not asked for assistance as they face the war of attrition against the merciless enemy. Luke offers what help he can, providing vital tactical aid in routing the alien forces at Borisk. This convinces even the hardline isolation Moffs to join the larger galactic community, which to me just screams more of the whole galaxy is becoming united for a common cause. So yeah, I'm glad that's happening. It just sounds more like Mass Effect to me. Like the entire galaxy has all these issues to resolve, and they have to work together against the Reapers. In this case, the Star Wars galaxy has to go over all their problems and then fight against the Yuuzhan Vong in the ultimate battle to retake the ultimate planet where all this war started, pretty much. So that's pretty much what is happening here. It's Mass Effect 3 all over again, except this was made before Mass Effect 3, so you could make the argument that Mass Effect is the new Jedi Order series. um, the Grateful Imperials provide Luke with an escort, the frigate Widowmaker, Overwatch anybody, and its crew, along with the latest rumors of Sekot's movements, which help the Jedi focus their search. On Coruscant, Nomanar hides in the lower ruins of the city and earns the trust of the Shane Ones, who are spreading heretical new faith that to be the true instrument of the Yuzumon gods and the only heroes who would fight on the behalf of the Shane Ones, since they're questioning the Yuzumon doctrine. Anar adapts the alias Prophet Ulysses, Yusha, I think, and amasses many followers with his powerful message. After narrowly escaping dangerous natives on Mefar, Luke and his team are intercepted by a Chiss vessel. Chiss commander Aria assesses their intent and the nature of their character before allowing them to proceed deeper into the Chiss territories. On Scylla, the icy Chiss homeworld, they are coldly met by Chiss delegates and a few human hosts The Chiss begrudgingly allow the Jedi limited access to their extensive libraries to the research of the whereabouts and location of Zonama Sekot. The Millennium Falcon arrives on Bakura to find the world in turmoil. The planet has become very insecure since the loss of Daryl Capstan and several warships during the Corellian insurrection. A surprising overturn of peace from the. Okay, I'm not good at pronouncing these Star Wars names. Let's just state that again. Basically, from the the slave race of the Sisruk has split the populace. Some are leery of anything to do with the Sisruk since the invasion of a quarter century earlier. Yeah, this happened a quarter century ago, and they're still dealing with the issues now. Others, though, recognize that Heretic bring with them technology and inside knowledge of the former enemy. Prime Minister Caridor, known for an anti-alien sentiment, unexplicitly favors accepting the Heretic, but he is briefly kidnapped by by a rebellious movement. Talia is warned by the Ren Underground that not everything is what it seems on Bakura. Jenna seeks more information regarding the Bakurian strife, questioning the imprisoned Malina's Thrans, a leader in the underground movement, and the teenage daughter of Gariel Cabiston. Thans claims to be innocent of kidnapping. She escapes when conveniently timed power swords unlocks her prison door. Melina returns to her rebel camp, inadvertently leading government troops to her friends. During his stay on Cicero, Jason befriends Salin Wenisfell, Sunafell's wife and daughter. Jason saves Wynn's life when she is attacked by Pizza Abbey, one of the several extremists who want to ensure that the Chiss stay out of the Galactic Alliance politics. For Jason's help, the Chiss allowed him to extended access to their records, where he finds evidence of Skid is orbiting around Mobus in the Calisa's Euphorian system. On Yuzentar, the rebuilt Coruscant, Nominar's heretical movement gains a potent follower in Nagalu, a Yuzamong priestess of the Deception sect, which Anar plans to explore it to infiltrate the highest ranks of Simara's court. When Simara suspiciously to the death of some of Anar's highly placed allies, the former executioner worries how long he can maintain his dangerous ruse. On Bakura, Prime Minister Chenandol arranges a ceremony that would make their planet safe from the newfound Pogue allies. In truth, the ceremony is meant for the benefit of the Sisruk, who wish to once again attack Bakura, and he has sold out his planet in exchange for a promised immortality. He is in fact convincing human replica droid that he has been entranced with his living soul. The souls in Talia unravel this plot, preventing the concentrants. The poetic, finally given a taste of freedom as part of the conspiracy, truly do turn on their masters, joining the Bakurians in repulsing the would-be invaders. When Surik retreat, they punish him. They punished Sin. Okay, like I said, I'm not good at pronouncing these names. Cinderotol for his failure by letting his life energy bleed from his robotic body. With further tips from the Rin network, including a reunion with his founder Dorama, the Falcon ventures to the remote Minos cluster, arriving eventually at the planetoid Isfanda, site of the crucial New Republic communications hub that connects the galaxy to the unknown regions. The Juzamon target isn't Isfandi to deter searches for the planet Skidot. A small Galactic Alliance battle group defends the planetoid, bolstered by Imperial reinforcements commanded by Grand Admiral Paladin. The assistance of Ren vessels help the Galactic Alliance win the battle, so there's hope now. Though Jaina sustains some injuries, Jag stands by her side as she recuperates, declaring his love for her. So We got Anakin still in Talia, we got Jason still in Kai, and now we have Jaina and Jagged Fell. On board the Falcon, another far more personal battle takes place. Talia enters a coma-like state in which she envisions a duel between her two conflicting halves, the Jedi Talia Vila and the Yuzumong Rena Kawad. Through the Force, Jaina tries to help Talia, but this challenge is Talia's alone. Talia puts aside the conflict and integrates the two sides of her personality, emerging a stronger individual. So now she's fully embraced her Yuzumong side and has merged them. And this would pose problems later down the road. Finally, Luke and his party arrive at Zonama Sekot, which has taken up position around a large gas giant. The effects of its flings it through hyperspace decades earlier caused great injury, and the planet is still healing from its efforts. Its inhabitants, the Ferorians, were hard hit by the enforced moves, but they survived and rebuilt. They do not welcome Luke's mission. They want nothing more to do with the rest of the galaxy. Luke and the Jedi converse with the current Maester, the previous Maester's daughter, Jebedith. She knew Anakin Skywalker when he visited Sekot as a boy and remembers both him and Obi-Wan Kenobi well. Her experience with them have left her sympathetic to the Jedi cause, although she is still cautious of any outside involvement. Her willingness to listen alarms the more isolationist Ferorians, who fear a return of the strife and cataclysm that accompanied the planet's last encounter with off-worlders. The group kidnaps Dan Kui and Jebeth, prompting a confrontation with the Jedi. Jason's repeated insistence on finding a solution that averts any bloodshed impressed the planet. And the planet's consciousness appears simultaneously to Luke and Jason in the avatar of a 12-year-old Anakin Skywalker and Vernian, respectively. Sekot offers its services in battling the Yuzumong to both Jedi. Luke accepts while Jason declines. Nonetheless, the planet commits itself to the cause. So that was pretty much it for the Force Heretic trilogy. You see that problems are now descending with the Yuzumong internally. Like Nomanar is on the run, and he's posing as a god now to try and build up this movement, and that wouldn't really work out for him in the end. I'll get to that when I get to that. With the return of the Zonama Sekot and Jebeth, the Force Heretic trilogy connects the New Jedi Order series to the prequel era novel Rogue Planet. This is behind the scenes stuff, creating a story that spans decades. In the original outline of the third novel, it was to be Sekot's younger moon, called simply Zonama X as a placeholder name, or 10 if you want to say that helped convince its elder weary planet to join the war against the Yuzumong, appearing as an avatar of Anakin Skywalker. In the original outline for Remnant, Chiligan was to be a science-minded Jedi on Luke's expedition. She was replaced by her apprentice Tillich in the final book. Baby Ben was also to be part of the expedition. Jason would take it upon himself to act as the guardian in the Force towards his cousin Ben, warding any darkness or disturbances from the infant, an act that Mara would grow to resent. Though the story thread might have set up events and legacy of the Force series nicely, it was discarded from the Force Heretic trilogy. So that's the behind-the-scenes stuff that happened. Now, the Force is really, like, you got the philosophical talk regarding the Force back in Trader, which was commented, like I said in previous video, which was funny still. But ultimately, there's not a lot of Force philosophy in this. It's more like focusing on these characters, like Jagged Fell's in love with Jaina Solo, kind of obvious. And how these among are now everything's at the turn of the tide now. These among are losing this war. Like, they're still being ravaged beasts at this point since they lost a major key battle. But now they've become desperate in this war, and now they're dealing with their own problems with the Heretic group that believe in the Jedi to be their saviors, and now Nomanar leading a movement as a god. So everything looks like the Yuzumong are royally screwed in the end. It's kind of obvious. And this also gives closure for Talia's place a bit. Like, she lost Anakin Solo, and that will still affect her in the future, but at least they get closure for her regarding her Yuzumong experiment. I'm pretty sure there's still her still. I'm pretty sure Final Prophecy, the next novel I'll be talking about, will be focusing on her and her damaged psyche. But ultimately, Final Prophecy would serve as like the ultimate character arc for her. But that's pretty much relatively it. Those are my thoughts on Force Heretic Trilogy of the New Jedi Order series. This was Neo Reality Entertainment. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and donate. Stay tuned for more.